Chairman Senate Committee on Judiciary, Human Rights and Legal Matters, Senator Michael Opeyemi-Bamidele, has expressed the readiness of the Ninth Senate to see to the long-awaited reform exercise in the judiciary arms of government. Senator Bamidele made this remark while he led other members of the committee to pay a separate courtesy visit on the Chief Justice of Nigeria, Justice Tanko Muhammad, and the President of the Appeal Court, Justice Zainab Bukashwa.
The visit will avail us the opportunity to keep abreast with the progress made by the judiciary in the last couple of years and also interact with you, my Lord, on the challenges facing the judiciary. This, no doubt, will enable us to make appropriate legislative interventions in times ahead for the betterment of the judiciary. My Lord, the Honorable Chief Justice, there is no gainsaying the fact that judiciary plays a very crucial role in the sustenance and deepening of democratic core values. In this vein, the legislature has a major role to play, and through the exercise of its legislative functions, would make necessary interventions to strengthen and guarantee the independence of the judiciary.
The Chief Justice of Nigeria, Justice Tanko Muhammad, has said the problem of inadequate funding is one of the greatest challenges confronting the nation's judiciary.
I think I will still lay bare our complaints to you with respect. That if you take the whole amount that is allocated to the judiciary as a whole, federal judiciary, you will find that it may not even be up to the amount allocated to one ministry. Now remember that we have the Supreme Court, we have the Court of Appeal, and the Court of Appeal is having a lot of divisions. We all came from there. We have the Federal High Court, National Industrial Court, and all these kind of courts, which are severally spread all over the country. We have to appoint supporting staff, and finally we appoint the justices and judges. We screen them very well. Now, the issue of their welfare, we have, before we make appointment, we ensure that that court which is making a request for the employment has all the facilities. They have houses, they have vehicles for the justices.
At the office of the President of Appeals, Senator Bamidele said committee will work out to ensure that the welfare of the judges and those of their support staff is promoted and protected through the appropriate legislative interventions.
Advocate, as always, for transparent, robust, and efficient justice delivery system, which is a catalyst for the nation's economic growth and development. However, it must be emphasized that the success of effective justice system is not only measured by the number of cases dispensed with, but also with corresponding welfare package of practitioners in the system. As a result, this committee will work hard to ensure that the welfare needs of judges of the Court of Appeal and indeed the support staff of the court are addressed through appropriate legislative interventions. In this regard, we must reiterate that funding concerns, which is key to the successes of the judiciary, is a matter of uppermost and utmost concern to us.
The President of Appeal Court, Justice Zainab Bukashwa, also asked the senators to intervene in the poor funding of the judiciary. According to her, most of their buildings are collapsing and dilapidating, virtually in all the 16 divisions of the court.
We intend to appoint more justices of the Court of Appeal because of our heavy workload. And then we intend to have 4 additional divisions of the Court of Appeal, most likely before the end of the year, so that we can share the workload. Like in Kaduna, where we have only 5 justices now, the heavy load is coming from Kano State.
In a chat with journalists, the chairman of the Senate Committee on Judiciary, Human Rights and Legal Matters, Senator Opeyemi Bamidele, also said the salary review of the justice will be given a priority in the course of the reform.
Say 2007, if salaries of judges were reviewed in 2007, this is 2019, 12 years after. And you can tell that a salary that was last reviewed 12 years ago cannot stand the test of time. Definitely, our judges deserve a better deal and a better future, which also will show in the way they are treated today and the kind of remunerations that they get. They don't have any other means of livelihood. And I believe this is one of the areas where we need judicial reforms.
Nigerian Coalition of United Political Parties, CUPP, has condemned the proposed increase in the value-added tax from 5% to 7.5%, describing it as anti-people and a policy that will further worsen the suffering of the citizens. Addressing journalists in Abuja, the coalition opposition party, through its spokesperson Ikenga Ugoshiri, said the Buhari-led government has failed to address the core issues that should have had direct bearing on the well-being of the people.
Today, public funds are spent without appropriation and proper accountability. Today, they have increased VAT to 7.2%. Today, they tax citizens to deposit their money in banks. Today, they tax citizens for withdrawal of their money. Today, they ask citizens to pay stamp duty and the money is not accounted for. Today, citizens pay increased electricity tariff with no electricity supply. Today, they have borrowed more money both locally and internationally, more than any other government in our history. Yet, they cannot pay workers minimum wage. Beyond these obnoxious policies, citizens are daily denied their basic right to freedom of expression. The government has failed in its basic duty, which is protection of lives and property. Today, all parts of the country are insecure with bandits and terrorists raping and destroying.
Following Atiku Abubakar official filing of a notice at the Supreme Court appealing the decision of the election tribunal that declared Muhammadu Buhari winner of the presidential election, the CUPP said the ruling APC has finalized plan to allegedly unpick the justice that will make up the panel. The opposition spokesman said the coalition will fight against such plot.
We have it on good authority that the All Progressive Congress, APC, led federal government has been mounting undue pressure on the Chief Justice of the Federation and indeed the entire court to accept a hand-picked panel and jettison the age-long tradition of the Supreme Court of selecting the most senior justices of the Supreme Court to sit on the panel. The disquiet and bad blood caused by the APC in the Supreme Court is a clear desecration of the highest temple of justice in the land. The opposition and most Nigerians will not accept a hand-picked panel, neither will the pronouncement of such panel command the requisite respect and confidence of the people of Nigeria and we in the opposition.
Discover the tangible magic of our hospitality that is all about you. The World's Curtain Hotel and Apartments is a surely fantasy-like journey into a glamorous world of pure luxury and gratifying indulgence. The World's Curtain Hotel and Luxury Apartments offers guests a perfect blend of relaxation, business and pleasure, delicately infused to meet the highest international standards. It's first-class service at its finest. Our commitment to exceed your expectations means impeccable attention to detail, courtesy, and a genuine care for your every need. Located at number 8 Gadonasco Street, off Jose Martin at Socorro, Abuja, Nigeria. You can call us on +234 908 7561 269 or visit our website at wellscouting.com. Upgrade your stay at the Wells Cutting Hotel and Luxury Apartments. An experience guaranteed to leave you breathless with longing.
Discover the luxury at the heart of the ancient city of Benin, the Prestige Hotel and Suites, a fantasy-like journey into a premium luxury. Its 3 minutes proximity to Benin Airport makes it preferable to other hotels, offering the best executive rooms and suites, swimming pool, gym and game center, having access to Benin Airport area view, and with our top-notch event center to cater for your social and corporate events. Any of our rooms comes with a complimentary breakfast. The Prestige Hotel and Suites offers guests a perfect blend of relaxation, business, and pleasure. We're located at number 1 Ihama Road, Airport Junction, Benin City, Nigeria. You can call us on 080-1519-74044, or you can visit our website at www.prestigehotel.com.ng. You can also email us at info@prestigehotel.com.ng. The Prestige Hotel and Suites, a world-class hospitality.
President Muhammadu Buhari has set an agenda for the newly inaugurated Presidential Economic Advisory Council to find solutions to the poor economic indices within the shortest possible time. The president, who gave the task when he administered oaths of office on the 8 members of the Professor Doyin Salami-led council, asked them to focus on developing reliable data that will properly reflect the country's current situation, while reminding them of disturbing statistics from the World Bank, the IMF, and other foreign bodies, and the need for reliable data for realistic plans. The president directed the council to coordinate and synthesize ideas and efforts on how to lift 100 million Nigerians out of poverty in 10 years, working on collaboration with various employment-generating agencies of government. It will be recalled that the president recently announced the names of some reliable economic professionals to be his advisors, replacing the economic management team, which was hitherto under Vice President Yemi Osinbajo. From Abuja, I am Festus Ejiroge Nefifen for Ben Television.
As Nigerian Senate continued debate on the general principle of the 2020 budget, lawmakers again took turn to express their opinion on the 10.3 trillion naira estimate. Some of the senators who spoke during the plenary on Thursday attempted to prefer a solution to the country's economic challenges. This is day 2 of the deliberation on the budget parameter. About 30 senators indicated interest to comment on the 2020 appropriation bill as presented by President Muhammadu Buhari last Tuesday. On diversifying the economy, the senator representing Osun Central, Surajuddin Bashir, says this can only be achieved if the executive pay more attention to improving power supply in the country.
So I would rather say that as going forward, we must begin to think, how do we diversify revenue base of our society? When you talk about 256 billion being allocated to works, I have it on good authority that what is even required to take care of outstanding in the Ministry of Works and Housing is in excess of 500 billion naira. And here we have allocated 256 billion, and will be said to be huge comparative to what has been allocated to other sectors. So I would say, one, there's a need for us to think outside the box in terms of how do we generate revenue for our country. One good step that has been taken in the budget in this regard is the increment of the percentage for VAT. And the good thing about this is that it is done having in mind the need for us to be able to think in the way of progressive taxation. When we look at the way the finance bill that has been sent has been couched from the speech of Mr. President, the vulnerable people, the poor people in the society are being insulated from the effects of the increment of the VAT. Let the rich, the affluent, who can pay, let them pay for the development of our society. People say we go to other countries. They say everything go and run very well. It runs very well because everybody in that society, particularly the rich and the affluent, they pay for development of our society. In Nigeria, we must make our rich people to also pay for the development of our people.
Some lawmakers, in their separate contribution, said increase in all forms of taxation will do economic no good.
I think the plan to increase VAT to 7.5% is clearly an instance of regressive taxation. If you look at item C, introducing tax incentives for investments in infrastructure and capital markets, this situation, for me, of increasing VAT is a shortcut to economic recovery. It smacks of intellectual laziness, and like all shortcuts, I don't think it will drive this country in the right and proper direction. Number two, Mr. President. Number two, I believe that one of the immediate consequences of this VAT increase will be unemployment.
I have some misgivings about the fundings of the budget of 2020. With a debt portfolio of 20 trillion, debt service of 2.4 trillion, higher than our capital budget of 1.18 billion. It means that we are not going to find funds to implement our capital budget. I would like to reflect on the 2019 budget, where only a paltry sum of 294.6 billion has been released for capital projects as at September 2019. Most worrisome is the fact that as at June in 2019, our budget was already in the budget expenditure for 2019 was already in deficit of 1.35 trillion. This deficit is what is delaying the implementation of the capital budget. So, given the same indices that we are using in 2019 to raise revenue in 2020, it is really worrisome if we can meet our revenue targets.
While some commended the federal government for deciding to focus on completing abandoned projects instead of embarking on new ones.
We know that at the end of every economic argument and debate is a political decision. The political will to implement the budget and, of course, budget making has to demonstrate fairness, equity, and inclusivity. For example, Mr. President, my constituents are deeply concerned about the poor showing of Plateau State in the budget over the years, and even in this one. This has been repeated in this year's budget, and it's the desire and call of my constituents that the Senate will address this imbalance and to make provision for the Akwanga Jos Bauchi Road, and equally to facilitate the completion of the Jos Yakubu Gowon Airport, Hepang. Finally, Mr. President, the issue of the cost of governance can be addressed partly through drastic review of project cost in our procurement processes. Presently, the costs are outrageously scandalous, and this has to stop. I therefore urge this Senate to ensure that we take a look at our procurement cost, our project cost, on comparative basis vis-a-vis other countries.
Doing new projects. That is welcome. And I also want to say, because I'm coming from the southeast of, southeast of this country, I know we have so many abandoned projects in our area. One is the second Niger Bridge. It's very, very important to us because we are businessmen, we are also moving up and down. The other issue is the 9-mile Makurdi Expressway. That is very, very important to us because that's the gateway to the north and that we take to get to Abuja and beyond. The other issue is the Akanu Ibiam International Airport. We have for over 43 days now. That airport has been closed. Mr. President, we are begging that in this year's budget, now that that place has closed, and that's the only major airport in the southeast, that the federal government should allocate money, since we are not doing new projects, ensure that that airport is done for us.
The debate on the 2020 budget is expected to end next Tuesday.